Welcome to eSIMs 4, where we bring you up-to-date information on all things eSIMs. eSIMs, or embedded SIMs, offer many advantages, but they also introduce certain technological challenges and potential threats. Here are 10 use cases where eSIMs could pose a technological threat. 1. Increased vulnerability to cyber attacks. Since eSIMs are software-based, they are more exposed to cyber attacks compared to traditional physical SIMs. Malicious actors could exploit vulnerabilities in eSIM software to intercept data, compromise communications, or hijack user accounts. 2. Over-the-air hacking. eSIM profiles are managed over the air, meaning network operators or other entities send configurations and updates remotely. This process could be compromised, allowing hackers to intercept or manipulate updates, potentially redirecting phone data or compromising devices. 3. Digital privacy risks. As eSIMs rely on cloud-based activation and profile management, sensitive user data is stored online. If this cloud infrastructure is breached or misused, user privacy could be compromised, with personal data becoming vulnerable to leaks, tracking, or misuse. Device lock-in and monopolistic control. eSIMs can give mobile carriers more control over devices, since switching carriers involves dealing with the network provider for a digital profile transfer. This could lead to monopolistic control, where consumers face barriers in changing providers, reducing competition and flexibility. Increased surveillance potential. Governments or organizations might use eSIMs to more easily track users. As eSIMs allow remote reprogramming and easier data collection, it becomes harder for users to control who can access their location and device usage information, increasing the risk of surveillance and misuse of personal data. Reduced user control. With eSIMs, users lose the simplicity of swapping out physical SIM cards when changing devices or carriers. If carriers impose unnecessary restrictions or delays in transferring eSIM profiles between devices, users could face limitations in their control over mobile services, creating dependency on carrier decisions. Compatibility issues and device locking. Some carriers may use eSIM technology to lock devices to their networks more tightly than with physical SIM cards. This could prevent easy transfer between networks or countries, limiting device usability and user freedom in regions where eSIM services are not fully supported. Black market and counterfeit risks. In regions where eSIM technology is not well regulated, there could be an increase in counterfeit eSIM profiles or illegal unlicensed eSIMs provisioning. This could lead to untraceable or illegal use of mobile devices, complicating law enforcement and regulatory efforts. Remote deactivation risk. Since eSIM profiles can be remotely updated or managed by carriers or service providers, there's a risk of unauthorized or accidental deactivation. In malicious scenarios, attackers could gain control of a device's eSIM profile, shutting off communication capabilities or holding the profile hostage for ransom. Security challenges with multiple profiles. eSIMs support multiple carrier profiles on the same device, which could introduce risks if poorly secured. If one profile or network is compromised, it could potentially allow unauthorized access to other profiles on the same device, leading to data breaches across multiple service providers. Nation-state espionage. eSIM technology, if compromised, could become a tool for nation-state actors to conduct widespread espionage. By infiltrating telecom infrastructure or cloud systems that manage eSIM profiles, attackers could surveil government officials, military personnel, or corporate executives, gaining access to sensitive data. Mass surveillance and tracking. Governments or malicious organizations could leverage eSIM for widespread tracking of individuals. Since eSIMs are difficult to remove or switch compared to physical SIM cards, users might unknowingly be subject to mass surveillance, especially in countries with poor digital privacy regulations. Global roaming abuse. With eSIMs supporting multiple profiles, carriers or hackers could exploit vulnerabilities in roaming agreements. This could allow malicious actors to bypass legitimate international roaming fees, leading to financial fraud or misappropriation of services across borders, affecting the global telecom ecosystem. Denial of service (DOS) on telecom networks. A large-scale attack on the eSIM provisioning or management systems could disrupt entire telecom networks. A successful denial of service attack could render large groups of devices inoperable by preventing their eSIM profiles from being updated or authenticated, impacting communication on a broad scale. eSIM cloning and identity theft. Unlike traditional SIM cards, which are difficult to clone, eSIM profiles are managed digitally, making them more susceptible to cloning attacks. If a hacker clones an eSIM profile, they can steal the victim's identity, intercept calls and messages, and gain access to personal or financial data. Corporate espionage through profile exploitation. In corporate environments, eSIMs could be exploited by competitors or hackers to infiltrate company devices. Compromised eSIM profiles could allow malicious actors to access sensitive business communications, intellectual property, or financial information, leading to devastating corporate espionage. Supply chain attack on eSIM providers. If an eSIM provider's infrastructure is compromised, attackers could insert malicious code into the eSIM provisioning system, allowing them to infect millions of devices through firmware updates. This type of supply chain attack could lead to widespread device compromises, impacting both consumers and enterprises. Simjacker is an exploit where attackers send specially crafted SMS messages to control a device remotely. With eSIMs being digital, such vulnerabilities could potentially be more widespread, allowing attackers to take control of a user's device, steal personal data, or track the location without the user's knowledge. Many MFA systems rely on SMS-based verification tied to SIM cards. If an eSIM profile is compromised, attackers can bypass SMS-based authentication, gaining unauthorized access to critical accounts such as banking, corporate systems, or social media, leading to widespread account breaches and identity theft. eSIM technology may create challenges for law enforcement in criminal investigations. Traditional SIM cards can be seized as evidence or analyzed to track usage history, but eSIMs can be remotely wiped or reprogrammed, making it harder for authorities to gather forensic evidence or trace communication trails in criminal cases. These additional cases demonstrate how eSIM technology, while highly convenient, introduces serious risks ranging from personal privacy violations to large-scale national security threats, making it critical to implement strong security measures to mitigate these potential dangers. At eSIMs 4, we see amazing possibilities and vulnerabilities. We can all work towards creating safe and reliable eSIM solutions as an open-source community. Join us today and find out how you can participate. Simply register.